Okay, in this video we are going to learn how to make a better type of animation. What we have done so far is we've seen how to make a ball bounce around on the screen, and it also changes color. If I don't clear the screen, you'll see it looks a lot better. It leaves traces of lines on the screen and makes a very attractive pattern. And the colors are changing randomly too. Notice that in this program for the ball, there are 5 variables: an x, a y, a diameter, an x speed, and a y speed. If we want to make 2 balls, we'd have to duplicate these variables and have 10 variables. If we wanted 10 balls, we'd have 50 variables, and our program would just choke on the variables. It would be impossible to keep track of it all. So we're going to have to do a different way of handling lots of balls, and I will show you how that works. New package is going to be called ball animation, and I'm going to make a class here called, we're going to start off with just 2 balls, and that could be extended to as many as you want later on. So first we just, because graphics works with objects a lot, we don't put everything in the public static void main, we put everything in the constructor. And our 2 balls is going to run a setup, and then we're going to have our main game loop. And our main loop will be a while loop that does a couple of things, and the 2 things it does will be move balls and draw graphics. So you can see the logic of the program is set up right here, and it should be quite easy to use. We have to get our graphics console, so I'm going to cut and paste that from here. And we need to make some constants. I'm going to be using the width and height of the screen in various places, and having special numbers typed in is going to be a bit annoying. So I'm going to make them constants. Here's the window width in pixels. Oops. I'm having a lot of trouble typing today. Okay, so now I'll write the setup part, and I'll talk about the constants a bit more later if I remember to. In our setup, we want to maybe set the title. And let's make all of the lines really smooth. We will put the thing in the middle of the screen, the window. And set a background color. And now we can run our program. In Eclipse, Control/ comments things out, which is very handy. And there's an error somewhere. Oh, while, my while loop. Let's keep looping until somebody presses a Q key. Okay, so this should be on the screen until someone presses the Q key. When the while loop is over, we need to close the graphics console, and that will end the program. So let's try this. It pops up. It's not black. hit Q, and it closes. Okay. And now it is black. Great. Okay, the setup is done. We need to make some balls, and these balls are going to be up here in the global variable section. One other thing we need to do we need to have some sort of sleep time, and this is essentially the frame rate of your animation. I'm making it a constant because this way we can't change the frame rate as the program is going. I don't want the animation to speed up and slow down for any particular reason. It should just be at a constant rate. If we want it to go faster, we change this to a lower number. So it will only sleep for 1 millisecond instead of 5 milliseconds. If we don't have this sleep thing in here, a lot of the times the graphics are not getting drawn properly and there's lag in the graphics. Okay, so we're going to make some balls here. I am going to make a new class called ball. And my ball is going to have an X and a Y, an X speed and a Y speed as well, and a size, and a color. That way each ball could be a different color. Great. Now I'm going to, in my setup, I need to make a ball object, and that is down here. Okay. We'll get to this a little bit later. So, v1 equals new ball. v2 equals new ball. Now that I've made these balls, you'll notice that if I type in v1 period, it pops up all of the variables that the ball has. So this is really handy. What this means is when I make a ball v1, it's got a color, a size, a x speed, y speed, an x and y position, and v2 has all of these things as well. But I only have one variable in my program, and that's the ball1 object. And inside the ball1, I have all the variables that I need to describe the ball, which is just awesome. Okay, let's get some graphics drawn on the screen and see what happens. First, you have to clear the screen. Unless you want your balls to leave traces all over the screen, you need to clear it. Now, I'm just going to put in the x of ball 1 and the y of ball 1 and ball 1's size. Okay, great. So now we have the color and everything is set up here, and we should be able to see one ball on the screen. Or not. Why is it not showing up on the screen? Oh, because Draw Graphics is commented out. There we go. So there's our ball. Notice that it flickers a lot, particularly when I move my mouse. We have to fix that. Why is the ball located there? That's because we did not have any value for x and y, so the value is 0. When I run this, the ball is put at position 0, 0. If I have another ball, it will also be at 0, 0. If I have 10 balls, all the 10 balls are going to be on top of each other right there. Not a good plan. We need to make the balls start at different locations. So I'm going to put a constructor for the ball, and I'm going to send the width of the screen into the ball here. So send the width in. And now I'm going to make a random number for my x. I want this to be, I don't think I want any balls on the far side of the screen. I'd like to leave a blank space on each side. So let's just subtract 50 there. And y is going to be in the top 100 pixels of the screen. And I'm going to add 1 to it because I don't want a location of 0. Let's see what happens here. Oh, we got 1 ball. And it's flickering. Let's get the second ball on the screen. Copy this. Paste it. And if you do Control F, you can change all the B1 to B2. Make sure your lines are selected, hit Replace All, and we are done. And we have 2 balls. This is not working. It should not be off the screen. So there's a problem with my program, my random numbers. I also want to set B2 to be a different color. To see where it is on the screen, I'm going to quickly do a little bit of troubleshooting. Okay, so the title is a really good place to pop up stuff if you have to find out what is happening on your screen. So I'm starting this, and this is saying the red ball is at 519 pixels over 35 pixels down. Let's hit Q, and let's run this again. Q, run. Okay, well, eventually we would get a negative number. And that is because I did not do my random numbers properly. I'm going to fix that now. And what I want to do is I need to subtract 100 from the width of the screen, and then I need to be adding 50 here, and you can figure out the logic for that later. The ball stuff is basically done now. Okay, now we need to move the balls, so I'm going to uncomment this, and I'm going to write a move ball method. Let's just shrink this down so I can fit it all on the screen. Okay, so first thing to move a ball, you just add the x speed to the x coordinate, and you add the y speed to the y coordinate. I'm using the shortcut notations instead of writing. It's hard to type and write at the same time. There. Okay, so that is what I could be writing. I'm using the shortcut thing. I'm adding that there. So one of the balls should be moving. The red one should move off the screen, and there's an error. Oh, that's called move balls. Well, I will just call it move ball. Okay. Boom. Now it goes off the screen. We want it to bounce. To make it bounce, we're going to do this. Okay. The top and left sides of the screen are easier to do, so I'm going to do those first. If your ball1.x is less than 0, then what this says is, this is for the left side. If your ball, which is here, goes off the left side of the screen change the sign of the speed. If it's negative, make it positive. If it's positive, make it negative. Let's do the same for the top. If you don't understand this, go back and review the screen coordinates in any program and see how they work. Now the right side, it would have to be more than the window width minus the v1.size. Okay, so that's good. And let's do the other one, which is y, and this will be off the bottom of the screen. And change this to y. Let's hope it bounces now. Okay, it's bouncing. There's a lot of annoying flickering, but that's working. To get rid of the flickering, anything that you're drawing needs to be put in a method, encapsulated in something called synchronized. And I can't really explain it, but this is what you do. Okay, so all of the drawing stuff is in one place. That's why the draw graphics method is separated out, because we want all the drawing to be in one place. We synchronize it, and then it draws with no flickering. Okay, great. What would we do to get the second ball moving? Well, I guess we just copy all of this code. And we change the B1 to B2. So that would work. There's a problem here, though. If you look at this, we have exactly the same code here and here. And if we had 10 balls, we would have the same code 10 times. This is a big no-no when you're programming. We do not want to repeat the same code over and over. Goodbye. What we want to do is I want to pass in the name of a ball here and move that ball. Let me show you something else. Okay, if you do this special keystroke in Eclipse, Alt, Shift, R, oops, that's called Refactor. So we can rename something. If I do Alt-Shift-R here, I can type banana, banana 1. It fills up, all of the other ones are bananas. Now, I only want to change this variable, but not that variable. I can just keep typing, and all of the variables are being changed. Okay? What I need to do is say ball B1 first. And then I need to refactor this one, Alt-Shift-R, and call this one B. Okay. So here we're actually talking about local and global variables now. If I type in something like this, string name equals Bradley. And then if I try and print out the name down here, I get an error. The error is because name is created here, but it gets deleted. All the variables get deleted when they hit the bracket after they've been created, the curly bracket. The name Bradley gets deleted here. So I can't use it down here. That's why we have to have global variables. You can also see that Eclipse makes these things brown. Local variables are brown, global variables are blue. So I put this here, and this creates a variable called B for the ball. And so this variable is local, it's brown. Okay, let's get rid of name here. And let's get rid of name here. Okay, so what I'm going to do to move the ball, wait, one more thing about the variables. Okay, what's wrong with this? Oh. First, I'm going to move ball B1, and then I'm going to move ball B2. Okay, so I'm saying take B1, and what B1 does is B1 goes down here, and now it's called B, and it does all this stuff, and it goes back up here, and then B2 is now called B, and then all of this stuff happens, and it goes back up, and then it draws the graphics. Speaking of global variables, there's two more things I should say. If I put brackets around this, what that means is these variables, they get killed and deleted right here. There's this parentheses is the code block where they're created, and here's where they're deleted. That means that I have errors now because B1 does not work anywhere. In all of my methods, I have errors. There's no such thing as B1 and B2, okay? The other thing about this is if you're running a method, like let's say draw graphics, actually I'll go down here. I'll say in this one, I'll make a variable int x equals 0, and then I'm going to try and add something to it. If I print out x, when I run this program, oh, the balls are moving, excellent, and they're bouncing, and I'm printing out x, and x is always 1. It keeps getting reset to 0 every single time. There's no way to make x get bigger unless you make a global variable for x. That's kind of beside the point there. Okay, so we have our balls moving. I think we are basically done here. We just want them to collide. That's looking great. So to make them to collide, we would have to do something complicated. I am going to have to pause this and put a little bit of code in here. I have to write this code and see if it works, and then I will be right back. Okay, I think we're back. I hope this is working. And I've written a method called check collision. It looks complicated, and I don't really want to explain it right now. It's basically seeing if one point in the ball is inside the other one. And if it hits, it's going to print out the word hit. It runs, and oh, those balls are not hitting each other. Let's try again. Okay, so you can see the word hit being printed out down here, and it shows that that's working. This is a little bit too complicated. If we had lots of balls, yeah, we're not going to do this. So get rid of this. What happens in Java is it's got a thing called rectangles. If we make our ball into a rectangle, there's a special advantage to that, because rectangles have something that tells if they can intersect each other, and it makes it really simple. The other thing rectangles have is they have an x and a y, and they have a width and a height. So I have to delete my own x and y, and have to use the x and y and width and a height that's in the rectangle. I'm just still going to use the method, still the number size here, but actually, no, let's just get rid of the word size altogether. And this is going to set the size of the ball right here. Okay, so over here, I need to fix up the size, and this is going to be the width. This would be the height, because these are now rectangles. By making it a rectangle, in the extends rectangles, that means like ball is a child of rectangle. It gets all of the DNA of the rectangle, and that means all the properties of the rectangle the ball has as well. And another error here. Check collision. Oh, we're not doing that anymore. Okay, check collision. I'm just going to make a simple one here. So instead of our complicated check collision, which, did I delete that? I did, it's gone. Instead of the complicated check collision, we can just say if B1 dot intersects B2. Boom. So that's how you tell if two rectangles intersect each other. And what I'm going to do is make it very obvious if they intersect. I'm going to change the screen color. So if the two balls hit each other, the screen should change to be white. Let's see what happens. Boom, changed to be white. Try that again. Screen is black, and they are not going to intersect. Oh, they hit right there. Okay, so we have the intersection method working just fine. And that is the end of this video. We have got everything working. And thank you for your attention. I will post the code online. And if this works, I might make other videos.